Aloha, Pilates peeps. Thanks for joining me again. We're going to use two props today, the yellow resistance band and the magic circle. So you're going to start with your band. You're going to put it on over your feet. Take it up just above your knees. You want the sticky side on the inside so it grabs hold of your skin or your pants. I'm going to turn to the side so you can watch my form in this squat. You want to step your feet out wide, and then you want to turn out in Pilates stance. So heels turned in, big toes turned out. Your arms are going to go straight out. You're going to squeeze, squat down, push your tush backward. Try to keep from tipping forward. 10 times, exhale down, inhale up. Squeeze. Now turning to the front, parallel stance, so your feet are pointed straight ahead. Take your circle down to one hip, reach your hand, so you've got a straight elbow, straight wrist, squeeze, and lift up your right foot. Your right hand is squeezing. Make sure it's on the same side. Balance. Keep your shoulders pressed down. Nice. Switch sides. Hand and foot, same side. Take your feet out wide to begin, pointing straight ahead. Tip over to this one standing foot. Raise the knee, squeeze the circle, exhale. Good, rest. Roll yourself forward nice and slow, one vertebrae at a time, round rainbow shape to your spine. Reach those arms down long, reach your spine away from the floor. Squeeze your circle, slowly roll your way back up. Your feet should be positioned wide so you're having resistance between the two legs. Squeezing your circle and pressing out with your thighs. Inhale. Exhale, roll it down. Arc your spine. Pilates, more than anything, focuses on the spine and the health of the spine as you age. All other movement comes from the spine. Exhale, roll it back up. Squeeze your circle. 3 more. Inhale, roll it down. Arc your spine. Might take you a few breaths to get all the way down. That's fine. Often the slower you move, the better it is. Exhale, roll it up. Always squeezing the circle. Exhale, roll. Last one. Squeeze your circle, roll it up. And now taking your circle up over your head, give it a good squeeze. Take one foot in front of the other. Rise up onto your toes. Knees are bent on both legs. Circle is squeezed. Drop it back down. Heels touch the floor. Inhale. Heels raise up. Exhale. Squeeze the circle. Tension between the two legs. Halfway there. Roll it out. Switch your lead foot. Get some tension between the two legs. Take your circle up. Keep it up. Exhale. Raise up your heels. Keep your rib cage activated. 3 more. Rest. Now step out wide. You should be at the edges of your mat. Raise up the heels. Bend the knees. Squat and squeeze. Heels hovered. Press those knees away from each other. 3 more. Rest. Roll it out. The next one, the arms are going to move forward. The circle is going to get a squeeze. Tip onto one foot and take your back leg up as high as you can, but don't let your torso tip forward. Exhale. Halfway there. Squeeze and lift. Rest. If you're anything like me, you feel that on your standing leg more than your lifting leg. Same thing. Other leg moves forward. Straighten the knees. Reach behind you with the leg. Squeeze the circle. Exhale, squeeze and lift. And rest. Whew, that one's hard. Take your band off now. And your circle is going to come with you. You're going to lay yourself down. Plant your circle in between your knees. Take your hands here if you need some balance. If not, just float them beside you. Half rollbacks. Toes are on the floor. Squeeze. Now hold it back here. Keep your spine nice and round. One leg at a time, lifts up. Switch. 10 times. Squeeze your circle. Rise up, straight spine, rest. Now you're going to take your circle over your knees, up halfway between your hips and your knees. Roll yourself down. Going to change orientation so you see the lift of my pelvis. You want to be supporting your head here with your two hands. Lengthen your spine first. So actually use your body to stretch your spine. Get all of the vertebrae down on the floor to begin, except for the neck. Press your knees out wide. Balance on your toes. Raise up your heels. And then raise up your bum 10 times on your exhale. Squeeze your glutes. Squeeze your hamstrings. Look straight ahead. Last one, hover up here. Lay your head down flat. Press your hands into the floor. Rise up onto your tiptoes. So if it's possible, just your big toes and the toe right next to the big toe is actually touching the floor. Your arch is getting stronger by raising yourself up like this. Hold it for as long as you can. If you start to get a cramp, lower yourself down. Give it a little rest and then start again. Raise yourself up. Balance on your tiptoes. Strong feet, strong arches, strong legs, strong knees. Squeeze your glutes. Exhale. Lower it down, one vertebrae at a time, starting at the rib cage, lowering down. Thoracic, then lumbar, then sacral, then the tailbone touches down. If you do it in slow motion, you get to stretch your spine. Exhale, press it up again, nice and slow. Find your tiptoes. Breathe. Looking straight up at the sky, pressing the arms down into the floor for balance. Roll it down nice and slow. Start with the ribs. Exhale. We'll do that 2 more times. Press your knees out wide. Exhale, press it up, nice and slow. Find the tips of your big toes. Roll it down, start with the ribs. Last one. Raise up the heels to begin. Squeeze the glutes. Press the knees wide. Find your tiptoes. 3 breaths up here. And roll down that spine. Reaching the spine as long as you can away from your head. Creating space between your head and your tailbone. Beautiful. Now take your knees, bend them. Put the circle inside the thigh, anywhere between the knee and the hip. Raise up your head, support your head on your 2 hands. Keep your circle squeezed. It shouldn't be round anymore, it should be oblong. Take your feet out like you're driving them up a ramp. Keep your lower back pinned to the floor. Point your toes for strong feet. Halfway there. Two more. Rest. Take your circle out. And now lay your legs down flat. Squeeze your inner thighs together. You see that my lower back rises up when I do that? Get it back down. Even if that means you got to move some of your glutes out of the way. Move them away from your head so they're not keeping you too high. If your glutes are keeping you from a low back that feels stable, you're more prone to injury. Once your low back is down, even if you have to bend your knees to keep your low back down, do so. We're going to move our arms down towards our thighs. Exhale, squeeze as you go. Overhead, all the way up to halo. And rest. Bending the knees now. Get that low back in the ground. Squeeze the knees together. Have the feet out in tabletop. You're going to take your magic circle, place it over your feet. Turn it so one of the handles is just behind both of your Achilles tendons. And then hold on to the other handle. You're going to exhale and start to rock yourself a little at a time. Now take yourself seated and rest. For our next exercise, you're going to take the circle in front of your body, stretch your legs out. Your left foot goes inside the circle. The Achilles tendon is the surface it presses into. Take your hands back behind you for a little kickstand, and then take your top leg up to the circle. Exhale, press it down. Get it as flat as you can. If you're feeling strong, float your hands. Stay tall. Point your toes. Switch out sides. Find your balance. Make sure you're feeling strong before you float your hands. So both of the handles are on an Achilles tendon. Arms out to the side or behind you in a kickstand. Exhale, press it down. Get tall. Keep your knees straight. And rest. Now you're going to take the circle again to one Achilles tendon and then wedge it underneath the glutes on that leg. Take your arms out to the side unless you need the balance, and then you're going to have the hands on the hips. Exhale, squeeze your circle. Stay tall. Other leg. Pin it. Wedge it. Get tall. Find your hands on your hips or your hands to the side. Don't let your torso move front and back while your leg moves. Exhale, squeeze. And rest. Nicely done. See you a little later today for spine corrector. Welcome back. We're going to do our spine corrector exercise now. Hand weights of 1 to 3 pounds is what you would use for this. So to begin, you're going to have a seat on the seat. Wedge yourself into the seat. Get your lower back planted. Lean back. Balance on your toes. Squeeze your legs together at the knee and the ankle. You're just on the very end of your big toes, if that's possible. Serve a tray. Exhale, take your hands out. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Halfway there. Keep those knees squeezed together. Aim for straight wrists. Two more. Now we're going to take ourselves a little bit higher. You want to be all the way up on the apex of your curve now. Same thing. You're going to be balanced on your two big toes. Knees are squeezed together. You're going to wrap your hands around the back of your thigh for stability. One at a time. Exhale, lift. Squeeze the knees. Look straight ahead. Pull the belly button in on the exhale. Get tall. Rest. Now you're going to take your feet, pressing the heels against the front edge. So the toes are on the seat and the heels are on the front side of the downhill slope of your arc. Now we're going to lean ourselves backwards till we start to shake. When you start to shake, that's your point. You balance right there. Take 10 breaths. Exhale wide. Inhale narrow. Balance on your toes. Three more. Relax. Now you're going to take yourself onto your back. Scoot yourself forward so your tailbone is hanging just over the lip of the seat in the front. Your arms you're going to take behind your body, but first you're going to grab your hand weights. Back here, squeeze the two weights together, press the elbows down towards the floor, and then you're going to open the arms out to a T, keeping your head up and hovered, looking at your knees. If you want more challenge, you can raise up the hips here. Lower them down on the inhale. Exhale. Squeeze the knees together. Even more challenge would be to be balanced on your toes. We're halfway there. Two more. Drop your hand weights and rest. Rest by laying yourself on top of the arc and shimmying yourself back until your head and the tops of your shoulders are rested down on the floor. It's important that the shoulders are bearing the weight and not the neck. Now you're going to take your hands down to the sides, find some handles, grab hold of your handles, take your feet up. Lower back needs to plant itself down again. Take a moment to do that and make sure that your head can turn to both sides comfortably, and then turn and look up towards the sky. Keep your gaze straight ahead, watching your feet move out into circles. Start with small circles. Bring the heels towards the center of the body, touch them together. Exhale out, inhale in. Keep your grip on your handles. If you don't feel the ground underneath your shoulders, make that happen for yourself. 3 more in this direction. And then change directions. Take a little rest. Take yourself up to the top again. And now we're going to work on star. So you'll turn to one hip. Rest yourself on a hip and a knee and a hand. So your knee is on the seat, your hip's on the arc. Your hand is slightly in front of the back of the seat. And we're going to take our arm and our leg on the top side up on the exhale. Go as high up as you can. Turn yourself to the other direction. Plant the knee on the seat, plant the hip on the curve, plant the hand on the floor. You want your elbow nice and straight on this supportive arm. Take your top leg, top hand up on the exhale. And rest. Now we're going to take ourselves to the top of the apex with the hips. So the hip bones are going to press right into the top edge. The elbows are going to press into the back side for stability. So if you want to see me better, I should move. You're going to take yourself onto your hip bones. Dig your elbows in right here for balance. Take your feet up. Heels are touching. And then you're going to do a flutter kick like you're swimming in a pool. Breathe slow 10 times. Paddle as fast as you can. Looking at your hands the whole time. Rest. Make your way to a kneeling posture now. The front of your thighs, just above your knees, is going to be touching the bottom edge of your downhill. Your heels are going to squeeze together. And then you're going to take yourself back like a plank, back as far as you can. Bring it forward. For extra challenge, the arms would come overhead. Squeeze your hips together. Squeeze your glutes and your hamstrings. Rest. And now we're going to lay ourselves down. Again, start with your tailbone hanging off until your spine gets limber enough to tolerate this full curve. Lay yourself down. Support your head with your two hands. Your hands are a hammock for the weight of your head. You're going to take your hips up so you're in tabletop. And then the right leg to begin. You're going to take it down to the floor and then up to a 90. Exhale and lift it. Don't let your hips tip. Rest. Squeeze those knees together. Switch sides. Left leg stretches down to the floor. Straight knee. Hips are hovered. Exhale, lift that leg all the way to the ceiling. Three more. Rest. Sometimes some people notice that there's a snapping or a popping sensation in their hips when they're doing exercises like this big kicking. If that's the case, focus a lot on your abdominal muscles and making sure one hip is never drifting behind the other hip. Also, you can keep your kicks smaller, and that's going to keep that movement a little bit safer for your hip. Now we're going to take ourselves into our side settle. Wedge the hip into the front. Take this top leg out and then turn it so the knee can see the ceiling, and you're reaching away from your head with the toes on this top leg. Now your arms are going to float out and you're slowly going to lower yourself down. Not all the way. You're going to go half or 3/4 of the way down and then pick yourself up. Inhale to pick yourself up. Exhale to lay yourself down. Reach away from your foot with your arm. Rest and switch sides. Get your hip against the downhill side of your prop. Stretch out your top leg straight. Orient the knee towards the ceiling. Point the toes. Reach the toes long away from the body. Arms come out to the sides. Exhale. Lay yourself down. Rest. Turning back to our first side. Now we're going to have both of our knees bent. One is bent and holding on to the front edge of your seat. The other is just bent out to the side, resting on the floor, acting like a kickstand. Take your hands, interlace them behind your head. This time we're going to lay ourselves down all the way. Do it nice and slow. That top leg is going to find itself in an ideal position for balance if you just rely on it to do that. You're going to exhale, pick yourself up. Exhale, lay yourself down. Try to keep the elbows wide. Two more. Last one. Turn to the opposite side. Position your feet bent, knees. Interlace the hands. Lower yourself slowly on your exhale. Keep those elbows pressed back. Three more. Last one. Rest. Now we're going to go one more time onto our bellies. It doesn't matter if you start at the front or the back of your prop in this exercise. Just take your hips to the top of the curve. And then you're going to walk your hands forward. This is a little Superman. Your heels are going to stay glued together, but you're going to raise up your feet. That's going to tip you forward a little bit. Make sure that you're balanced to like you can seesaw front and back. And then pick up the right hand and the left foot together as high as you can. Keep both hip bones staying in contact with your prop. Exhale, lift. Switch sides. Your eyes should be looking at your hands. Keep your neck long. Rest. Again, you're going to walk your hands forward, and then both of your feet are going to come towards your glutes twice. Squeeze them twice, and then lengthen them. Exhale, squeeze. Looking at your hands. Rest. While you're resting, if you want, pull yourself up to stretch your back in an extension pose. Reach your chin up to the sky. Move your lower jaw forward and backward to stretch your throat. Rest. Now you're going to take yourself to a standing pose. And then take your hands down to the top of the apex. Glue your heels together. Rest your upper body weight on your hands. Exhale, raise up your heels, keeping the heels touching. Go as high on your toes as you're comfortable. Rest. Step your feet wide, parallel, facing forward, no turnout now. Your hands are going to stay right where they are. Roll out your wrists if you need to. Same thing, we're going to raise up our heels. Now we're going to bend our knees. Lower and raise your heels 10 times with bent knees and a flat back. Rest. Walk your feet in towards the center. And now you're going to take your toes onto the spine corrector. So you're going to be standing essentially on an uphill slope. Your heels are staying on the ground, but your toes and the ball of your feet are up high enough that you feel a strong stretch in the back of your calf. Hang on to the top of the prop to steady yourself. And just be in this stretch in the back of the calf for 10 deep breaths. Try to get your toes wide away from each other so they all have space to move. If you have hyperextensive knees, you're going to keep a small knee bend here. 5 more breaths. Rest. And for our last set, we're going to pair our magic circle with our spine corrector. Take yourself to the seat. Get your low back pressed in comfortably. Take one foot onto a handle, and the hands are going to be on the other handle. Now you're going to pull, flossing your sciatic nerve, moving your ankle front and back, using your strong arms to stretch your hamstring. Making an effort to keep your spine nice and straight, even though you're using the prop for support. And now lose one hand and just take the same side hand and leg out to the side, stretching your hamstring. The other leg stays planted on the floor. Floss it out here. It's best to look straight ahead. Keep your knee straight. Pull with your arm. Then bring it into the center. Switch sides. Other foot now in. Pull it up and back towards your head. Flossing your sciatic. Bend and straighten the ankle, point the toes. Breathe while you do it. Then on one side, take it out to the side, drop it down as far as you can. Move the ankle, front and back. Feel this in your groin and the upper hamstring. Now you'll take your magic circle in between your knees. Take your hands down to the floor. Find a comfortable position for your hands. Probably a turned out position is going to be most comfortable here rather than pointing the finger straight ahead. Pull your shoulders down and back like you want your shoulder blades to touch each other. And then straighten the legs. Squeeze. Keep your neck long. Three more. Rest. Keep your circle where it's at, and then take yourself up to the apex. Take your feet to the seat. Find a comfortable position for your hands. This is a more balanced pose, balanced challenge. Squeeze your knees together. Exhale, kick the legs out straight. Go slow so you know what your balance feels like before you commit. Nice tall spine. Shoulders are down and back. Rest. Thank you guys for joining me again. I hope that was a good workout. And I look forward to seeing you all again in 3 days.